Glory to Ukraine. Dear respected participants of today's 10th International Economic Forum, KIEF Forum, top managers, owners, CEOs of Ukrainian business, international business, dear partners, colleagues, friends, dear Vice Prime Minister on Restoration, the heads of Trade and Commercial Chamber, dear Vasil, thank you team, thank you all for getting together in this very challenging environment despite of the night attacks, despite that today's morning started far before the sunrise because of the one in the row Russian attacks by drones over the capital, but capital survived, we survived, and we will stand all other attacks of the enemy. The front line holds still despite the enormous pressure from aggressor, despite joining to aggressor the other nation and their allies who supports aggressor. We definitely will stand. The victory will be with us, and that's among other. We're going to speak today for the first time in this platform, in this tremendous environment where we can discuss the perspectives and challenges of the future, challenges of nowadays. All 4 years that we discuss, we are forced to discuss the unpredictability of our future. These were COVID times. Now these are times of the difficult war, but despite that, each and every one stand still, hold the fort, and bear responsibility to the teams, to the collectives, and Ukrainian society and national budget. And I would like to thank for each and every one who are among us today, who works hard in your industries, in your businesses all over Ukraine. Today, as ever, we will also discuss some practical things related to our economy, our economic future, financial stability, energy, logistics, reservation, business support, all these issues that concerns you, Ukrainian business, and I definitely would like to provide some understanding on where we are, where we advance, and also we will discuss and we will respond to the most critical questions. There would be a possibility today, and I would be happy to listen to you, I'm happy to communicate with you, and it's tremendous to have such a platform for communication and for discussions. Firstly, the thing that concerns each and everyone, that's microfinancial stability of our state. That's an external support, that's a budget deficit, that's exchange rate, inflation. All these things are very well known to you, and the linkage and importance of financial resilience of state for business, for each and every business in every sphere is critical. For 2025, we've a complete understanding how we're going to uh, mitigate the deficit budget. We continue cooperation with International Monetary Fund, with the Ukrainian facility, Ukrainian plan with the Ukrainian business. We received one of the biggest financial victories, which provided us with the possibility to start using the frozen Russian assets for the sake of Ukraine, $50 billion, which we will receive from G7 nations, from European Union. In fact, would be our reserve, would be our security pillow for next and even upcoming years, the way we planned, the way we agreed with IMF, with our partners. That means that we're not going to undertake an emission finance, we will have funding sufficient to fund the military, all the expenses of the budget. Neither last year nor this year we undertook a mission, and that kept our macro financial stability and ensured some predictability of the exchange course and the inflation rate for each and every business, and that were critical elements of stability. The budget for next year has not been approved yet. It's undertake the preparation for the second reading, for the second review. The main purpose of the budget is to support and to fund our defense forces, our defense capabilities. These are the critical objectives, but also there are all other expenses in a full extent anticipated, both social, budgetary, and all other expenses to be covered by the state in the full extent. The second item that I would like to highlight today, that's the issue that covers each and everyone. That's our energy. Energy situation is under control, is manageable. All the works, all the services and works conducted. We cannot forecast anything in terms of how the situation in winter shall look like. That depends on multiple factors. First of all, the intensity of Russian attacks on our energy infrastructure, that's obvious, but we are preparing on all the directions. We agreed to increase the physical import from 1.7 to 2.2 gigawatt. We also agreed on additional emergency support. We continue developing our divided generation. And by the end of this year, recently, in fact, yesterday, we had an energy session, 900 megawatt plus 200 more additional capacity would be installed, would be launched, and would be put in operation before the end of this year. Accordingly, business can take advantage of national support programs or rely on alternative energy sources. That's the program of Foreign Organization of Ukraine. We have sufficient stocks of different equipment. We have sufficient stocks of gas in our storages. We have coal in our storages. Business can also import electric energy and safeguard itself from potential blackouts in case of destruction of energy objects by the enemy. All that preparation provides us with a very careful optimism in terms of living through this winter, in terms of energy dimension. The third item is logistics. 2022-2023 business called that as a main bottleneck and a challenge and a problem to restore the business activity. Now this challenge has been mitigated more or less successfully. The sea corridor operates, Donap ports operate. We invest in the railroad, in the crossing points. For these 2 years, all these issues been implemented successfully. So trade and transport, visa-free regime been extended. That's our critical task. And for next year, to make sure that Ukrainian goods would be delivered without any quotas and restrictions to European Union. Our carriers do not need any licenses for cargo deliveries, and that's an objective of our negotiation with EU for the nearest time. We're working with European Union in order to prevent the blockage of the borders, although we hear again disturbing news from our Polish neighbors. However, in general, our strategy is to transfer to the joint control, and we continue the reform of the custom that has been recognized by the European Commission, the progress of reforms and implementation of all EU directives. The custom has received one of the highest marks in terms of the reform, and I'm sure in 2022 in 2025 we will feel the results, tangible results of this reform. Fourth block, that constantly what business is asking for, that's a transparent system for exemption from military service. It's clear that we have to find the balance between running economy and the needs of the defense forces. We have to make sure that the key subject matter experts would be able to work. We badly require rotation for those who defend our nation on the front lines. By November 15, we have to do the audit of the critically important industries. While the audit is going on, the exemption could be extended for those who've been exempt before May 31 this year, and the results of audit will contribute to updated rules which should ensure the balance which I just mentioned. The fifth block, that's economic policy during the war and after the war. We have launched a full-scale project made in Ukraine, around which we developed different support programs, industrial parks for respective industry. There are about 100 grants of that sort. We also planned funding in the budget, and we're ready to reimburse the connection to energy network and other designated elements covered by the law. So we will continue this reimbursement next year. We continue digitalization and deregulation in order to simplify interaction with the state. E-businessman, e-permission. So we continue issuing grants as part of e-work program. More than 20,000 of new businesses were founded or relaunched. Uh, beneficial loans 5710 program continues. More than 20,000 beneficial loans were issued. The reimbursement of purchasing national made product, national cashback, purchasing agricultural equipment, and energy and electric equipment. We continue that practice, very positively been recommended. This program of 25% reimbursement for production of Ukrainian agricultural equipment, and we will expand that as a subsidiary program for other products of highly technological manufacturing in Ukraine, support of export through the Export Credit Agency, other tools. It's all been implemented, so the Ukrainian business at different level, at different size and scale, become more and more small ones, middle ones, new workplaces founded. The structure of our economy would be shifted from mining to processing one. So we would like to have more Ukrainian products. We would like to respect that culture, to babysit that culture, so that we become a streamline for our society. I know today we have a lot of very strong CEOs, business owners, top managers of different, both Ukrainian and international companies. And I would like to thank, first of all, to you for working hard, for investing, for paying taxes. The money that government allocates for 100% for the national defense, every hryvnia from the central taxes is being devoted to the respective purposes to make sure that we can work and our defenders can defend us on the front line. Thank you, our defenders, males and females, who are fighting for the independence of our future. Thank you, who believe, who supports Ukraine. Thank you all. Glory to Ukraine.